We're going to, you talked about centralization, which I think is a very, very key issue in convergence, centralization. And how do you distribute these partnerships? You talked about problems, which I would see as friction points, and then therefore opportunities, and how you learn from the difficulties you've encountered in the past. And then you've talked about brand. And brand is a very, very, very important thing. I'd like to jump now to television. What about the TV companies, and how do we help these TV companies adapt to this new scene where they're being challenged by a word which I haven't heard very much yet, which is Google TV, and it is coming. Another word which I haven't heard very much, which is Apple TV, and it is coming. And how do we help these companies that are in the television, the broadcasting business, adapt their model so that they still continue to satisfy their audience, and they grow this viewing time, which Odo talked about. So the next speaker is John Stewart. John Stewart, is he here? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Where is John Stewart? Stewart Sanders. My apologies, Stewart. I mixed John Griffin, who could not come, and Stewart Sanders, who did come. So Stewart, the floor is yours, helping these companies adapt. We talk about smart TV because we talked about the smartphone. A smartphone is an invention because there's these phones that didn't do it, which are the old phones, and the phones that everybody now has in their pocket, which is the smartphone. I think to a customer doesn't care, smartphone anymore. It doesn't mean anything. So how do we make sure that the viewer that has a TV screen sees his screen as being today's screen and the screen good for tomorrow? So that these TV companies, which Stewart, now that his presentation I think has been uploaded, is about to talk about, can adapt, can grow, and can continue to perform the services they have been doing so for so many years. After that, we have two more presentations. So, Stewart, we have the same problem that everybody else had. We have a time problem, a huge time problem. And everybody is, I hope that you're not getting too hungry. Don't worry, food is out there, but it will wait for us.
Thank you very much. Right, I'll try and keep this as brief as I can. The world is changing. Netflix is coming. So how do you cope with Netflix? Firstly, I'm Stewart Sanders. I work for Kit Digital. We are the world's leaders in IPTV solutions. We've been working with some of the largest media companies for 15 years. In this presentation, I'm going to take you through some of the key trends that are affecting TV and provide you with Kit's recommendations on how to succeed in these changing times. Our recommendations are based on our own experience of working with Tier 1 broadcasters, pay TV operators, satellite, cable, IPTV, and some of the new major entrants to the market. The definition of what is a TV company is changing. We now define a television company as anyone in the business of delivering mainstream commercial video content to large numbers of consumers using a variety of different platforms and a variety of different business models. These include free, publicly funded, advertising, subscription, pay-per-view or rental, and of course retail. In the past, we would have insisted that the definition contained a reference to a television. Television is no longer the main consumption device. As we go through this presentation, you'll see why it is no longer valid. There are lots of new entrants in this area, but in Kit, we focus our business around the established players in broadcast television, pay TV, so the cable, satellite, mobile and IPTV providers, and of course the large new entrants into the over-the-top world, people like Amazon. So, there's never been a more challenging time in television. So what are these key challenges? Well, in simple terms, they're competition, changing consumption patterns, devices, piracy, monetization and control, technology, but as always, there's another level of detail. Competition coming from some of the following areas. Deregulation. Regulation used to grant near monopolies to some of the cable TV companies in return for laying the cable. However, these regional boundaries are no longer existing. In the world of over-the-top, anyone can offer content to anyone in your constituency. There are new entrants. Many factors are driving this. The lack of regulation as above, traditional TV companies failing to get their act together, some giants looking for new areas and over-the-top, where they've had some previous success, so the likes of Amazon, Google, and Apple. Piracy is also getting easier. It's easier and easier to get to premium content. BitTorrent, Usenet groups, illegitimate services such as ex.ua, they're all there and they're all real now. There's also a lot of cord cutting going on. A lot of competition results in people cutting the cord, subscribing only to parts of the service. This has been seen a lot with cable movies. People like B-Sky-B have been losing out to Love Film and Netflix in the UK. It actually operates two of these platforms, so we have a front row seat in the bloodbath that's happening now. A little fact as we go. So changing consumption patterns. The most fundamental shift in consumption is from linear to VOD. A very high level of VOD has existed for years through cinema and later videotape, DVD rental. Then came the PVR, the personal video recorder. This has been a major driver in VOD consumption. But the internet has now taken this to a new level. Now 50% of consumption of premium movies and TV series is done over VOD. VOD consumption has hit its tipping point. In the UK, the three top channels drive over 200 million views of key content per month. If VOD was the first major shift, the second is going to be devices. Video content is now being consumed equally on non-TV devices, so phones, games consoles, PC, and connected TV. The third shift is in its infancy and relates to the socialization of TV using so-called companion applications and devices. Younger audiences out there in the world often use tablet or phone while watching TV. The two channels are increasingly synced, such that users can interact with the TV content via the second device. So, devices. Set-top boxes outside of the main room really are no longer relevant. Even in the main room, TVs directly connected to the internet are becoming more and more prevalent. Multi-room devices are unlikely to be set-top boxes. It is likely to be a PC, a Mac, a tablet, a phone, or increasingly a games console. The general explosion in devices means that the future is going to be hard to predict, so prepare for multiple versions of your service that changes as devices change. This business is Darwinian. A stagnant VOD business will die. Piracy. It's just too easy to get premium content over the net for free. Traditional piracy in our sector was tape-based. It's now all online. It is easy to get pirated content onto mainstream too. The problem is growing, not diminishing. Significant initiatives to try and avoid what has happened to music, but it's too late. The answer lies in providing more users with a compelling proposition at the right price point, but the answer is also in legislation. Litigation, is required to keep that fear factor high. Monetization, well, we're all in this business to make money. The reality is the revolution is in its infancy. A lot of well-known players have struggled to monetize. Some new players, like Netflix, still have to turn a profit. The tide is turning, however. iTunes certainly makes a lot of money, but traditional TV companies are also starting to make the change. Sky now have over 2 million customers that consume content over the Sky Go platform, which we supplied, and they are making monthly revenues from it. ITV in the UK serves over 30 million ads a month, that's adverts. Channel 4 have over 40 million viewings a month. Versatility is the key to this turnaround. You need to be able to monetize content in a variety of different ways depending on your own consumers' profiles. At the end of the day, if you provide users with great content at the right price and the experience is great from end to end, you will make money. Cost control is important in this business. Controlling costs is one of the main barriers to making any money out of online distribution. Companies that do not have the building blocks in place or are too barriered in their approach will not make money. People costs are also still way too high. The key to cost reduction is the removal of vertical barriers between functions, convergence of distribution channels, and automation of the correct processes to remove those people costs. Technology and infrastructure. Well, availability of bandwidth is the biggest single limiting factor in our business at the moment. You can't offer streaming if the bandwidth isn't there to support it. There needs to be established CDNs with both presence and scale to reduce distribution costs. Content protection and rights enforcement create another large challenge. This is exacerbated by the explosion of devices which have not yet converged around standards. The matrix of supported content protection technology by content owner and device is a complex one, and it's sparsely filled at the moment. So what does Kit recommend in order to survive? Well, adapt or die. You have to make the right level of investment. Limping into online television, trying to see if it works, is not a valid strategy. IP-based video consumption is here to stay. Please just accept that. Make the right level of investment. Create a proper business plan that underpins it and that covers the next 5 years. If you're the type of company to simply dip your toe in the water, forget it. You'll be history in the coming years. Google, Apple, Netflix, Microsoft, Amazon, they're all coming. They're investing tens of millions in your market. Do you honestly think you can take them on for $1 million? It's time to get real or get out. That's the single biggest recommendation that I have. Over the top is preferred to a closed network. Compared to traditional TV companies and traditional ecosystems, OTT delivery is cheap. You need to spend $10 to $20 per subscriber compared to the hundreds that you pay in a closed world. Focus on your core capabilities. Don't try and be something you're not. Don't take on Apple with a cheap movie-based storefront. Leverage your strengths and augment what you know. If you have linear TV content, add VOD capabilities and combine the two to create a compelling multi-TV platform. A great experience is going to be key. Focus hard on user experience and platform reliability. iTunes makes money because it's an easy experience and it doesn't fail, ever. Content is also king. Without great content, your service will die. We've seen this out in Seesaw in the UK. Sign up rights to deliver VOD at the same time you commission your content. Drive for exclusivity in your arrangements wherever you can. Competition will be fierce, and differentiation of your service is a good way to survive. and be distinctive. Distinctive branding focused on your key market is going to be a very key point for you. Provide simple, easy and effective user experiences. And be social. Engage with your customers and allow them to engage with each other. You have to have a VOD offering. If you don't, you'll be out of business within a few years. Accept this, and then you need to determine what kind of VOD offering you need. An IP-based VOD offering is the cheapest and offers the most flexibility. It's all about flexibility. Many of our telco customers have spent tons on expensive closed IPTV networks when they could spend a fraction on over-the-top. Device support is one of the largest issues that we face right now. No one knows who is going to win out in the device market. Connected TVs will have a large impact, and 80% of viewing is likely to continue to be done on the main household screen, though ask your 15-year-old whether they agree with that. Who needs an STB when you can get all the linear and on-demand content that you want straight to you on a connected TV on a pay-as-you-go basis? That's the future. Everything else is just noise. It's no wonder why companies like NDS are nervous. This entire ecosystem is pointed at cutting them out of the loop. Social TV, well, you have to have a strategy. Right now it breaks down into 3 areas: integration with social networks, putting social functions into your offerings, and companion devices. It's all about devices. It's as simple as that, I'm afraid. Device support is not that expensive. It's a fraction of what used to be paid out for companies that roll out proprietary STBs. Focus on consumer devices, the ones that the customers buy themselves, and after that, prioritise in terms of penetration in your own markets and what you can get content rights for. Technology makes it relatively cheap to do this, but again, get real. You are not going to compete with iTunes by spending $100,000 on a simple proposition that takes in a PC and an Android phone. You need to create a proper device strategy. It's not cheap, but it's a fraction of the cost of an STB ecosystem. Your customers thrive on change, so have a clear message, a great content pipeline, and a clear strategy. Respond to those market changes when they happen. Device game changes will continue to arrive, and you have to be prepared. Please do not believe that Phase 1 will be the end of your project. Phase 2, Phase 3, and beyond are just as crucial. There's no easy way to soften this blow either. Even public service broadcasters will need to keep refining their proposition to stay alive. Ignore the pirates. Combating piracy falls into 2 camps. One that is inside your control and the other that isn't. Inside, you have a range of technology: conditional access, DRM, watermarking, GeoIP. Outside, well, piracy relies on the television industry not erecting walls, but embracing IP and creating great experiences that enable users to get to the content they want, when they want it, where they want it, and at a price that is right. And of course, a certain amount of litigation. Convergence is key. People costs are way too high. Companies that don't have an open building blocks for their system, or that create barriered verticals within their own business, are going to struggle. Do not depend on advertising. AVOD alone will not keep your business afloat. Transactional and subscription-based services will provide the revenue streams to enable you to grow and keep the content flowing. This will be the perpetual cycle for this business. And be prepared to be a great customer service provider. You're going to have more direct contact with your customers than ever before. Great customer service will only enhance your revenues. Find bandwidth partners. You have to spend correctly to get this right. Do not rely on a single CDN. You have to be able to get your content to your consumers where and when they want it. So choose your partners wisely. I've had to hurry up, so I'll try and do this. So if anyone wants to talk to us, we're outside, and we can tell you far more about Kit Digital and how we can help. But just to sort of sum up, we are the world leader in IP-based video. We offer strategic consulting services, great user experiences, device strategies, converged IP-based solutions, integration with core TV systems, superb social television, and ongoing platform operations. A few of our customers, just so you can see where we stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stewart. Pretty somber